Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Chastity. We read a lot of books, we do a lot of things. It's kind of the shtick. This week, I was going through my Goodreads and I have several open books that need to be closed out. I need to either finish them or DNF them, but I need to clean out my Goodreads a little bit so that way we can start new books and I'm not stressing about, well, I haven't finished this book and I still have to read this book, and well, what about this book? So this week we are going to see how many of those books that I can actually close or like toss in the DNF pile. For those of you who don't know, DNF stands for did not finish. My mother specifically asked me what that stood for this week. Before I do anything else, okay. I love my long hair. It's so pretty, especially when I curl it, but I can't have it in my face. It stresses me out. But also, the first book that we're going to try to finish is Quicksilver. I've been listening to it for a few weeks now. It was one that my roommate was like, you have to read it. It's so good. And then several of my other friends were like, no, you have to read it. It's so good. I have about 4 hours left in the audiobook, so we're gonna pop in the headphones and we're gonna do some housework. If you're not familiar with Quicksilver, it is a romantasy. It's a spicy fantasy book. It is a human girl who lives in the third, where you get 6 ounces of water per day. Like, that's their ration of water for the day. And she steals a golden gauntlet and gets captured by the Queen's court. And in doing so, when she gets taken back to the castle or whatever you want to call it, she is basically sentenced to death and they're about to kill her when she speaks to a metal sword that comes out of a stone, King Arthur style. A portal opens up and a Fae male sweeps her into the world of the Fae. And that is where our story for her begins. I feel like saying anything else will kind of give away what's going on in the plot, but she is tasked with combining a ancient, like, mystical metal with medallions to help their people be able to cross through the portal, because there's a whole bunch of nefarious magic attached to all of it. So I'm having a great time with this book. I love a good fantasy novel. I have been craving Quicksilver, and every time I sit down or I'm doing something that I can have my headphones in, I'm listening to it. Like at work, in the car, when I'm in the shower, I have it playing. Let's go ahead and get started. I have a lot to do today while also trying to read. I love it. I love that this is my life. I just get to listen to books. Every story holds a new adventure and a new world, and I love it. It's my favorite thing in the world. It's my favorite thing. So, I feel like I've rambled on enough. Let's get started. I'm gonna go find my headphones and start in the kitchen because I need groceries. Chapter 32 is ruining my life right now. That's what the runes mean? That's what the runes mean. Little OSHA. Of course it meant more. What do you mean? Oh no. No. Excuse me. Yes! Of course it does! Someone asked for your opinion. Nope. Nope. This book is wild. I finished Quicksilver. Oh my god, Quicksilver was so good. I had to give it 5 stars. I had to. I fell in love with Kingfisher. He is the new standard at which I measure men. He said the most like beautiful romantic things, and it made my heart go pitter-patter in my chest. There were like twists at the end that I never foresaw, and it was just so good. It was so good. There were definitely moments where I could guess what was about to happen, in the sense of like, this is a fantasy novel, this is a romantasy, of course that thing is about to happen, and of course that's what that means. But there were still so many things that caught me off guard, and the story was so much fun to listen to. And it left on this cliffhanger, and I need to know what happens next, and I don't think the next book comes out until the fall. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, but I think the next book comes out in the fall. But I gave it 5 stars. It was incredible. Sarah's Fane, chef's kiss as a main female character. I loved her. And once you read, like, Little Osha, like, makes my heart sing. And once you read it, you'll understand why that is so, because you don't find out, like, the significance of it until literally the last 2 hours of the book, and then you're just like, but in doing that, I also deep cleaned my entire apartment. I cleaned out the refrigerator, I bought groceries, I cleaned the kitchen, I did 3 loads of dishes, I washed my bed sheets and my clothes, and I vacuumed, and I swept, and I mopped, and I dusted, and now our house is again livable. Me and my roommate both work kind of demanding jobs, and so when we come home at night, a lot of things just kind of get plopped down and we go to bed because we're exhausted, or we sit down on the couch and we visit, and we just don't have the energy to do anything else. So the weekends have really become like cleaning time, and it's a little bit hard with 2 people living here that has 2 apartments worth of decor and things, so it feels cluttered even when it is clean sometimes. So I made a like valiant effort to make the space a little bit more like breathable for us. And it's only like 9 o'clock, so I'm gonna continue on in the next book, which is Edge of Collapse by Kyla Stone. Now, this book was recommended to me by one of my pharmacists, and she only listens to audiobooks. She like listens to audiobooks instead of like watching TV or listening to music, so she consumes books like this. And these are all on YouTube for free. Like, the audiobooks are on YouTube for free. You can listen to them. So I started this book on YouTube, and then my beautiful, wonderful, gift-giving mama sent me the physical copy because it was on my TBR and on my like Amazon wish list. So now I have the physical copy. I am in chapter 24, I think is when I left off. Chapter 24, page 124 out of 299. So I'm on 124 of 299. But this book is about the end of the world, essentially. An EMP hits, and you're following 3 main characters. One is a woman named Hannah, who has been kept captive in someone's basement for years being tortured and beaten and assaulted over and over and over again. And when the EMP hits, the power goes out and her cage is unlocked. You follow Pike, the man who had her in his basement, who was beating and torturing and assaulting her. So you follow him while he hunts her down. And then Liam, who is just kind of a Good Samaritan-esque guy who is ex-military, who lives off the land, very like PTSD, doesn't want to be around people. And you see how all of their like paths cross. I feel for Hannah. I really like her character. She has a lot of gumption and a lot of like, I have to survive, I have to survive. She has a lot of survival knowledge because they're in the wilderness in the middle of winter. So she's trudging through the snow, pregnant, with a dog named Ghost, who she also saved from Pike, the awful, horrible man. But from what I have read and from what I understand, an EMP hits, the whole nation goes dark, and she's trying to find her way home. She doesn't really know what's going on. Liam is trying to make it back to his cabin after watching some really tragic things go down while he was in Chicago. And Pike is trying to get to her so he can kill her because she can identify him. I'm going to go hop in the shower and listen to Edge of Collapse and maybe even pick up the physical copy. This is so fun, you guys. So I finished Edge of Collapse by Kyla Stone, and I gave it 3 stars. Hear me out. I still loved this book. I will be reading the next one in the series. I want to know what happens next. I did give it 3 stars though. It was very much like end of the world, post-apocalyptic thriller. You kind of like, especially being the first book, you can kind of see where things are going and how they're going to progress. And there weren't a lot of like surprises, especially having the point of view from the 2 main characters and the man chasing them, essentially. There's a couple of moments right there at the end that I was like, oh, snap, didn't see that coming, but they weren't big, ginormous reveals. It was just more of like background information that you're like, oh, wow, didn't expect that. But nothing that made me like drop my jaw and just, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? But I still really enjoyed this book. I will be reading the next one in the series, and I'm really excited to continue with Hannah and Liam. I believe the next book is from the point of view of Hannah's husband, who we never actually met in this book. We just heard about. But from what I can understand, the next one is the same timeline. Like, it's exactly what happened in this book, but from someone else's perspective who's still connected to these characters. But also, like, I want to know more about these characters and this particular storyline. So it might be a little bit of a fumble, in my opinion. I just have to read it to find out. But Book 2 down. I did finish that book last night, so technically I finished both of my first 2 books in the same day, which feels very good in my little brain. That being said, I'm on my lunch break from my big girl job. I'm about to get some food, take Zeus out. Can you hear him crying because he knows that I'm home? I'm going to take Zeus out, get some food, and then I'm going to keep reading The Virgin Suicides. Hold on, let me grab it. The Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey Eugenides. I probably butchered that name. I started this in like June. It became my like summer sit by the pool and read book. And I just never finished it because I started reading other things that caught my interest a little bit more. I found this book in the like banned books section of Barnes & Noble's. It's a Pulitzer Prize winning. I think it's classified as a modern classic. I could be wrong. If I am, please feel free to correct me. But I'm on page 164 out of 249, I think. So I've got about 100 pages left. I feel very confident that I can finish this book tonight when I come home, but I am going to read a little bit on my lunch break. The Virgin Suicides follows it's from the point of view of the like neighborhood boys watching this family of 7 sisters slowly die. It's written in the style of years have passed and these boys are like writing down the recollection of what it was like to watch this family literally disintegrate. But so far I do really enjoy it. I don't know what I'm going to rate it. It has been a little bit tougher of a read. Think like 1984 or Animal Farm, where it's a little more dense. There's a lot of like information and there's a lot of inference. And sometimes it just like jumps around and I'm like, I don't understand. I get lost and I have to like go back a little bit and try to figure out what was going on. But I do really enjoy it. I'm hoping to finish it. I did drop it in a puddle at one point, so it's a little bit damaged, but I think it gives it character. But yeah, I've got this much left in the book. So let's go ahead and get lunch and read a little bit because it's so beautiful outside. It is February 2nd and oh my good Lord, it is so pretty outside. I can barely breathe. I just want to be out in the sunshine. Hello? Okay, hold on. Okay, well. Okay. Hey, I need you to chill for just a few minutes. Hey, I need you to chill. I need you to calm down. Okay. Anyway, several things that are in my brain that I'm just gonna like kind of word vomit at you. I finished, where is it? I finished The Virgin Suicides. It was really good. I think I gave it 4 stars. I felt weird giving this a rating of any kind. But The Virgin Suicides is about a family of 5 girls who systematically kill themselves. They all commit suicide kind of one by one. And it's told from the perspective of the neighborhood boys who love them but don't truly know them. It was really good. It is a modern classic. I looked it up. But I finished it. I finished the rest of it in one sitting. Yeah, if you like a modern classic and you like kind of dense, like thought-provoking books, I would definitely give this one a try. I did really enjoy it. That being said, I took yesterday off of reading to watch the Dallas Stars play the Ducks, and we got our rear ends handed to us. We totally lost, and I was devastated. That sucked. And then I came home, and my beautiful, sweet, intelligent, creative mama sent me a package, and I know what's in it, but I'm going to open it with you guys because I think this is not a package from my mother. No, I forgot that I bought this. I forgot that I pre-ordered this. Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. And it's the special edition copy. I think, yeah, it's a college romance about a swimmer and a competitive diver. That's what it is. For some reason, I thought it was a mermaid. My pharmacist was like, hey, have you heard about this one by Ali Hazelwood? And I said, absolutely not. And then I pre-ordered it. Forgot that I pre-ordered it, and now she's here. Look how beautiful those edges are. Oh my goodness, to simulate like water. And it's got like texture on the cover on like the pool, and it's got like drops of water down the front. Look how beautiful. I love an Ali Hazelwood romance. Chef's kiss. I enjoy them thoroughly. I was expecting it to be my mom's coloring book. So Mary Morgan, my mother, curated 2 different coloring books. One is crosses and one is roses. And so she's sending them to me and I haven't gotten them yet. So I'm waiting for those to come in the mail. And I thought this is what that package was, but it is in fact Deep End. which will be added to my endless TBR, because my mom also is sending me books off of my Amazon wish list, which makes my soul so happy and makes me just like kind of want to do a little jig. And I've gotten a handful now of books that I'm super, super excited to read. I'm just like looking at my bookshelf of my like unread books, and it's making my heart sing to think of all of the stories that I haven't jumped into yet. And I'm like a little overwhelmed with like, where do I start? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I need you to like chill out, Bubby. Mommy's trying to do a thing here. Ooh, but to move on, that is 3 books down off of my like open list. I think I have like 3 more still on it. So I have God Killer by Hannah Kaner still left on my open bookshelf. Those Empty Eyes by Charlie Donnelly. I also have The Odyssey by Homer on here, but I don't have the brain power or the willpower. It's such a short book, but it's such, like, there's so much information. And then The Alphabet House by Jussi Alder Olsen. I started that book in 2021. Do we think she's gonna finish it? Probably not. But with all of those titles in mind, I am definitely gonna keep going on God Killer by Hannah Kaner. God Killer is about from what I know so far, it's a girl who her whole vocation is to kill gods because she hates the sacrifice that her father made to keep her alive in the first chapter. And then you meet a young girl who's connected to a minor god, and she doesn't know how, but she wants to sever that tie with that minor god without actually killing it. And then you meet another man who his best friend is the king, and instead of a heart, he has a shrub. There's a hole in his chest with a shrub where his heart should be, and some sort of magic is keeping him alive. And that the king is who outlawed gods and made her vocation and her job necessary in the first place. I'm having a good time. It's interesting, but I'm on page 38 out of, oh gosh, I'm being attacked. Do you see what I deal with? Can I have my arm, please? I will give it back to you momentarily, sir. I'm on page 38 out of 288. So I've got 250 pages, which I don't know that I'll finish it tonight, but tonight and tomorrow are the last 2 days that I'm going to be reading this week. So yeah, let's go read God Killers by Hannah Kaner. Also, this is the first water I've put in my body in like 8 days. Very aesthetic footage of my slow motion French toast that I made. Turns out that I forgot to change my variable frame rate. I don't use it that often, so good on me. I lost a good portion of... I lost my entire outro. Now, I did tell you that I was going to start reading God Killer, and I did get a little bit further into it. I got to chapter 9, so I didn't get very far. But I am still enjoying the story. It's just not as fast paced as I would like it to be for a fantasy like novel. I am just going to put it back on the back burner just a little bit. I don't think I'm going to finish it anytime soon unless I do another one of these videos where I try to close out open books on my TBR or on my Goodreads. But I really enjoyed the books that I did finish. So Quicksilver was an amazing, very fantastical, like romantic story about fae, human, a vampire, enemy. It was a really fun, like really exhilarating story. I like the way that the author led that story. There were some points that were very obvious. Like if you're a romance and a fantasy reader, you can kind of see things coming. But there were a lot of things that kind of came out of the blue that I was really excited about that I didn't see coming, especially the ending. Like I said earlier, I cannot wait for the second book to come out. I will be reading that. Expect a reading vlog on that one. I'll just have to add it to my growing list of series that I have yet to finish. And then I finished Edge of Collapse, which was also a really fun one. I definitely am excited to see how the story progresses from here. I hope that they only get better. The first book was very thrilling. It really threw you in with no context. And for a thriller like that, I kind of enjoy just like jumping in and starting and just like, where are we? Who are these people? What's going on? And figuring it out with the like character, especially Hannah. Having the power go out in your literal cage and escaping into the world, and for us as an audience to also be thrown into this cage with her and what does the world look like, what's going on, and getting bits and pieces of information from the other two point of views was really fun. I think Kyla Stone has a lot going for her with this story, and I like the characters. I really enjoy Liam being this like ex-military, doesn't really want to be there, but finds himself helping this pregnant woman because of a troubled past. So, I mean, it's a good read, and I'm excited about the next one. I will be reading it. And then Virgin Suicides, which was a modern day classic. Gotta love a classic. It was very dense. I think that's why it took me so long to finish it. There was a lot of thinking involved. There was a lot of emotions involved. And sometimes I did get lost. I am very much a kick my feet, just here for a good time story girl. So when I find a more in-depth, more thought-provoking novel or story, it tends to take me just a little bit longer to get started and roll into it. But like I said, I felt weird giving that one any sort of rating because of kind of what it was. And I misspoke in my first clip. It was 5 daughters. It was 5 daughters. But again, I really enjoyed that story. I think seeing the conflict of a family and not knowing the mental state of these people, but seeing everything from an outside perspective of these neighborhood kids who were just kind of watching them tailspin was a really interesting take on the way that a suicide will affect a community, because I feel like the boys weren't really like narrowed in until the first suicide and the first death. I recommend it. But my reading for the week is officially coming to a close. I'm done. I'm going to turn my little goblin brain off for a little while and just like rot. But I did close 3 books on my ever existing and ever growing open book list. So that was really fun and really exciting, and I'm glad that I got to do it. I will probably do another one of these videos where I close books that are currently open on my Goodreads, because sometimes I just start a book and then something comes up and I like don't have a chance to finish it. And so this really gave me the opportunity to push forward and finish these books that I had started that didn't really have like a video idea attached to them. Thank you for allowing this to be a space where I just get to like read what I want. But if you do want to see another video like this where I close open books or I finish reading series that I'm in the middle of, go ahead and hit the like button and leave a comment. If you haven't already, you should subscribe. We hang out and we read books and we do other things. I've got a trip to Texas coming up that I'm really excited about, and I'm gonna take you guys with me and hopefully vlog a little bit for that. If you hit the bell icon, you'll be notified anytime a video comes out, and I'll see you guys in the acknowledgements. Bye.